rural policymakers' agendas often focus on cutting costs, balancing overstretched budgets, and struggling to maintain the status quo. Funds for investments are scarce, and rather than developing rural regions, the task is often to slow down their decline. At the same time, an increasingly complex set of regulatory and cross-sectoral coordination responsibilities trickle down from higher government levels, adding to the workload of organizations already working at or above capacity. Despite this somewhat grim picture, opportunities remain for those who know where to look and how. PoliRuralPlus seeks to help rural regions tap into their potential, fostering a less gloomy future outlook for rural development. With the current popularity of generative AI chat agents, PoliRuralPlus seeks to augment the traditional planning approach by combining geospatial analysis capabilities with natural language processing and large language models to enable meaningful conversations about places through our geo-enabled chat agent JackDaw. The challenge of places in large language models is that many names we use to refer to things are specific to the scope we are working in, used only locally, or commonly recurring, and therefore ambiguous. Furthermore, most places are not mentioned in written sources available on the internet, and knowledge about such places is not part of the training data of LLMs. Thus, if you're interested in New York, Beijing, Paris, London, Kyoto, or Rio de Janeiro, you may be in luck. If, on the other hand, you need detailed knowledge about places with names like Greenfield or Maplewood, you may find yourself at a dead end. The potential of a place is determined not only by what exists within the area we wish to develop, but also by its spatial and societal context, such as its urban-rural linkages. Therefore, we must overcome two challenges. On the one hand, we must find information about unknown places, and on the other, we must find information about those places in the context of their surroundings. We can use LLM models' reasoning and tool call capabilities to augment the context of a question before it is asked. That, however, requires data. To answer queries defined by users on the fly, we are building a comprehensive multi-dimensional grid dataset that encodes geophysical knowledge about each cell. This grid makes it quick and easy to perform traditional GIS analysis, such as finding out the land use and vegetation cover for the respective cell, as well as doing complex multivariate analysis in real time that considers the cell itself and its surroundings. Consider this very simplified example. A regional development authority wishes to explore an area's potential for weekend tourism as a strand of its economy. Let us examine some of the parameters that predict whether someone might wish to visit a place on a weekend. There must be something to see, do, eat, buy, or experience there. We can count the number of attractions, natural assets, restaurants, shops, and activities in a radius of 10 kilometers around each grid cell to score it for these criteria. There must be a substantial market size within 1 to 1.5 hours drive from the place. Assuming it is possible to drive 60 kilometers in 1 hour as the bird flies, let us count how many people live within that distance around each grid cell and score it accordingly. Rain and cold aren't typically conducive to tourism. There should be a limited number of rainy days, and the temperature range should be pleasant for seasonal activities. To get a score, let us count the number of rainy days, the average precipitation, and the median day temperature within a 15-kilometer radius of each grid cell for each month of the year to capture seasonal and local variations. By combining these simple factors, we cannot say whether an area will spontaneously explode into a thriving weekend tourism destination. However, we can determine if some fundamental conditions are met, identify impediments that must be overcome, and identify investments required. The example illustrates the sort of decision JackDaw may support if we feed it relevant facts about the places we are talking about before asking it to answer the question. PoliRuralPlus will continue to work on this and related matters in 2025 and 26. Please visit our website, poliruralplus.eu, to learn more about our tools and methodologies.